It's Alexa, transformational specialist, and I work with women all around the world, transforming them out of their trauma, limiting beliefs, emotional blocks into fulfilled, higher states of being. So today's training is about, do you feel safe? This is a really big thing, feeling safe. And it's something that I'm currently having to deal with myself as I go into my next level of impacting millions. That's something I've never done before. And guess what? My brain does not feel safe. My brain is shutting down my nervous system and not allowing me to move forward. So I'm a mother of 3 girls who I raise and homeschool by myself. And, they are my priority. And as I continue to move forward with my work and reach more people with my work, my brain does not like that. My brain does not like that combination. Me looking after my children by myself and then having to impact millions. Like those two combinations for my brain, they're not working well up there, like my primal brain cannot see how I can raise my children by myself and impact millions. It perceives it as a threat. It perceives it as a no-go zone. It sees it as impossible without somebody getting hurt or some sort of disaster. So therefore, my primal brain's job is to keep me safe. And it is stopping me from moving forward in my business, stopping me from elevating and becoming that next best version of me and those types of things. You see how that works? So what we want to do is we want to override it with our conscious executive brain. Now you might be thinking, now, how do I do that? Where the hell is that within me? And it's somewhere in the cerebral cortex. And you still might be thinking like, what the hell is that? And where the hell is that? So let's not confuse matters. Your conscious brain, you can call it your godness, your goodness. It's when you know right from wrong. It's when you know, like, okay, my primal brain might be telling me that this situation is safe. Like, let's say, for example, you're trying to lose weight, but you love eating foods that increase your weight. You love it and it's been safe and it's been a comfort zone for you. Your brain is gonna gear you towards those kind of foods, but you know that this is what you actually need. This is going to be great for your well-being. That consciously, that. So that's where you have to override it with your conscious executive brain, even though you may not have experienced the results that you're trying to experience, but within you that God got you. That's why they say when God got you, God got you. Within you that consciously, this is the way I need to move forward. You feel it in your soul. You can feel the tug and war between your soul and the egoic mind trying to keep the old paradigms and the old ways of being and those types of things. So that's what it means when you want to override it with your conscious executive brain. Yes, it's located somewhere in your cortex, but you don't need to worry about the cortex and what side of the brain it is. You just need to know to tap into your conscious awareness, your God consciousness, your good consciousness, that the thing that's actually within you that's calling you forward. You have to trust into that new beginning and take steps forward in order to see the manifestation on the other side and override your primal brain. I want to be able to do this training and show you a real life example of how to secure and heal your survival drive and instinct wounding. Okay, so let's get started. Do you feel safe? The brain's primary job is to keep us safe. And once the brain knows we are safe, then we can move forward and happiness can be achieved. Hence the feeling of when we don't feel safe, we feel stuck, repeating past cycles, and self-sabotaging our ascension to our next level, because the brain likes the familiarity, it likes the known, and it likes to be able to perceive what's happening, scenarios, peoples, and anything unfamiliar is foreign, and immediately activates the sympathetic nervous system. So when the sympathetic nervous system is activated, you may feel things like anxiety, stress. So as well as stress, you know, the flight or flight response gets activated. This triggers the release of hormones that prepare your body either to stay and deal with a threat or to run away to safety. And when you are living day-to-day life in that state of being, you're literally operating from that state to normal everyday things. It's very real. It's very heartbreaking what it does to your nervous system. Very, very real. You know, it increases your heart rate, your breathing, your muscles can become tense, trembling, shaking. It can affect your skin, your pupils. It's very, very real. So that's why it's important to heal this wounding so that it doesn't stop you in your tracks, literally dead in your tracks, and you can move up and forward into your higher purpose and ascend to do your life's calling. So what's the solution? In order to override the primal brain and the part of the brain responsible for our survival, we need to heal the root of our survival drive and instinct wounding. And this may be different depending on your experiences, but the formula will still apply and be exactly the same in each case. Most of our wounding starts in our childhood. The 3-step formula that I use is reveal it, heal it, and renew it, the RHR method. What we want to be doing is we want to start with revealing it, right? So number 1 is revealing it. And I'm going to take you on a bit of a journey to give you an example of this. So if I take my own personal situation, I want to be revealing things that are coming up for me now. So I'm triggered right now. So your triggering is going to be different. So whatever's triggering you and activating your sympathetic nervous system and causing you anxiety and stress, and holding you back from the life you know you deserve and desire, that's your trigger. That's what you need to get to the first place of that wounding. So I'm coming up against blocks about not feeling safe, raising my kids on my own and having to, you know, move forward in this journey and do this all by myself. And this unfamiliar space, and you know, am I going to be safe? Will I be protected? You know, I don't know these things. I don't know if it's safe. I don't know if I will be protected. Will my children be safe? Will they be protected? And these things. And so me revealing that as being my of what's triggering me, what's coming up, that's me revealing it, right? Okay, so I've just revealed it. Now I need to heal it. So in order to heal it, I need to go back to the first time I ever felt like that in my whole timeline. When was the first time that I ever, you know, felt unsafe, unprotected, wounding around my instincts, like as in what's really right for me? Is this the right thing? Does this serve me? And those types of things, and my survival, like what have I been doing to survive my whole life to this point? Okay, so when I go back to my childhood and I think about between the ages of 0 and let's just say 15 years old, we can even say like 0 and 7, right? Okay, 0 and 7 to 8. You know, there was times when I did not have my father in my life, and I couldn't turn to my mother, and I felt unprotected, unsafe, having to fight men and boys off of me, and being exposed to sexual acts at such a young age. via molestation and pornography and those types of things, and not having anybody to talk to and to actually understand what was happening. I formed my own beliefs as a child, which were very self-sabotaging, and gave meaning to things. And it became part of my survival and drive and instincts around what's safe, what's familiar, and how I will be protected, by doing these things, doing these sexual acts, and not having anywhere to turn but only to turn to abusers. So that formed a lot of my wounding in childhood. And what we need to do now is actually ask ourselves, well, okay, this happened, we've revealed it, and in order to heal it now, we need to know, what did we actually need to hear, see, and happen in that very moment so that wounding did not occur around our survival drive and instinct? Like, what did I want my father to do? What did I want my mother to do? Or my caregivers, or the elders around me? What did I want them to say? How did I want them to show up? What did I want to feel and hear, so that my light could still shine, so that my true self of survival drive and instinct could shine through and secure me in order to move forward. So when you'll be able to answer those questions, in my case, I would have liked to understood what these sexual acts meant at that time, what this pornography meant, like what was I watching and why, and what was the meaning, and not to have it, instead of it being in the dark and a child forming their own meanings and beliefs around this, and becoming addicted to this behavior. I would have liked to have been able to discuss that in a safe, non-judgmental place, and just have that reassurance that that is not something that I have to form an identity around or use to survive. That is not the basis of my drive, and that when I can, be reassured that it's okay to stand up for myself, say no. I would have liked my dad to let me know where real protection comes from, that it's not based on who I'm with, or jumping into relationships with people, that it's a state of being, and that it's okay to be with myself, just myself, and that I am protected, I am safe with myself. My survival isn't based on staying in toxic or abusive relationships. To just be with me. I never ever spent time with my father, just me and him. To know that it was okay to just be me, just me. Just be with me. Just be with me. Just be with me. Yes, just be with me, That's it. So all of those things that we've just listed, your list may be different, it may be the same, but when you do list those things in a safe, non-judgmental space, you'll be able to start giving it to yourself and healing yourself. So if you think about everything I wanted to hear and see from, whether it be my parents, my caregivers, and all those things, so that wounding never happened at 7 years old, it's what I now can give to myself in order to heal my survival drive and instincts, the wounding around that. So all those things you just hear me list out, I want to, in order to hit it, you want to give it to yourself, non-judgmentally, unconditionally, so you heard me say, I wanted to know that, these, understand about these sexual acts, that it didn't define me, and it wasn't something I needed to do in order to survive. So I need to be giving that to myself. You hear me talk about wanting my father to be with me, so I knew I was protected. I have to be with myself. I have to be able to be with myself without anybody, anything. When you can be with yourself, protect yourself. Protecting yourself is being with yourself. It's not abandoning yourself. It's not abusing yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, through alcohol, sex, abusive relationships, toxic self-talk. It's really being with yourself in every part of the sense, unconditionally, compassionately, and especially in the times when it feels the hardest, because that is when you need it the most. And that's how you protect yourself. That's how you feel safe, by being with yourself, not by indulging in a distraction or anything else, but really being with yourself. If you think about when you was that little girl and you wanted your whether it would be your dad or your mom or your caregiver at the time to be with you, so you knew you were safe, you knew you were protected, and you didn't have to look for that in other people, which resulted in abuse, which resulted in teen pregnancies, which resulted in a life of self-sabotage and self-hate, and going back to those known familiar ways of being in, just to be safe, just to feel protected, just to survive. And on the flip side, it was keeping you down. It was self-sabotaging your ascension to your next level. So after you've done healing it, filling yourself up with all the things that you needed to hear, see, and feel at that time, now you feel healed and whole, safe and secure, and your sympathetic nervous system has now stopped ringing alarm bells, and it's calmed down. You can start renewing your truth. And that's number 3. Renew it. You want to renew your truth. Like, what is truth for you, for the woman that you're becoming, for the person that you're becoming? What is that truth now? What really is that truth for you? When you start renewing your truth may be different from mine. It may be the same, may be different. So you want to renew that. So for example, the truth for me is, I'm being with myself. I'm not turning to pornography. I'm not turning to toxic men, to abusive men. I'm being with myself. So by being with myself every minute of every day, like completely present, being with yourself, you embody it within, and it's that protection is all around you. And you'll be projecting that out into the world. And the world will mirror back to you what you are projecting outwards. So when you can be with yourself and feel, and because of that being with yourself, you know you're protected, you're secure, you're always protected, you're always safe. You're being with yourself. You've given the things, you've healed that wounding. So first of all, you've revealed it. You revealed what's actually keeping you down and triggering you and messing you up. Then you've healed it by giving yourself all the things that you actually needed in place of that wounding, so that wounding didn't happen all them years ago. So you've given that to yourself now to heal that. Now you're renewing your truth as if it never even happened. And when you embody that every single day, it becomes you. It becomes your new normal. And guess what? Now your primal brain has a new normal to your survival drive and instincts, and it's no longer the old wounding. That does no longer exist. It's no longer relevant in your programming. And you've renewed your truth and you stepped up into that. Now your primal brain will be in alignment with what's your new truth. So you no longer self-sabotage, and you can ascend to your higher heights and your new levels each and every time by using this 3-step, simple, proven formula. So I hope that was very, very insightful for you. I'd invite you to start using this process in your own life today, and go ahead and live your best life. Absolutely. So let's unpack that. You said something really interesting about, because you used to do YouTube videos, you used to being on camera. So what happened at that time where you feel like, oh, what changed for you, where now going on camera is quite alien to you? Like, what happened?
I felt like I got traumatized. But this last tragedy that happened, it really threw me down so hard that I'm like, I have to work on getting my head back on.
What would you have liked to happen in that moment? What would you have liked to seen or heard so that that trauma didn't happen?
Oh, I would have loved to have the father arrested and put in jail. And putting myself back out there kind of creeps me out.
Yeah.
In a way.
How would that make you feel if this person was like locked up?
It'd make me feel better to know that he's not going to hurt another child or another woman again. Yeah. Yeah. Because it worries me for children. I've done so much in my life. I'm a certified child care aide, and I was a nanny before I had children. So I have this obligation in me to protect children, always have. And that's what I was doing for my kids, because I figured I'm a grown up, I'm going to heal, I'm going to manage, I'll be okay to, do whatever I have to go through to protect my children. And that would give me peace of mind to know that nobody else is going to be harmed and hurt by this individual ever again.
The reason I asked you that is because that's part of your purpose. I don't think you realize that train of thought you just went through, because you can only control yourself. You can't control the external. So it will give you peace of mind to know that, children are safe and other women ain't being hurt. But that's what you're called to do. That darkness is currently stopping you from showing up. Do you see how that works? It's blocking you from showing up because you have that fear. You're like, I can't show up because of X, Y, Z that happened. But that's the reason why you can show up.
I needed to hear that.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
That is the reason. Because now you're going to work with women who more than likely have children. They're going to become even more elevated and aware of these types of abuse, how to heal themselves and how to heal the next generation so that they're not susceptible to it. And that is how you take your power back. You feel better and at peace of mind that these types of energies and entities out there aren't able to hurt other people.
Yes. That's perfect. Thank you. Because that's what I needed to hear, but I wasn't hearing it from anybody.
Learn more about how the RHR method can help you in your life today. So somewhere on this page, click the link and let's get started in creating your dream life.